Welcome back to the top 10 scary urban legends. And if you haven't already, be sure to click that like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you never miss a future video again. On this channel, we have a tendency to ruin some of your favorite childhood shows and movies. So without further ado, here are your top 10 scary Winnie the Pooh urban legends that will shock you. I'm your host Andrew, and let's get right into this list. Coming in at a number 10 spot, a Reddit user by the name of Muffin Produce has shared an interesting theory about the beloved Winnie the Pooh franchise. According to the theory, all the characters in the series, including Kanga, are wanted criminals. The most suspicious character, however, is Tigger, the hyperactive tiger who claims to be the only one of his kind. In the 2000s movie, the Tigger movie, Tigger's home is shown to have a sword, darts, and even an axe, suggesting his violent tendencies. Furthermore, Tigger's rug, made from tiger skin patterns, raises eyebrows as it seems improbable that anyone in the 100-acre wood would have access to the necessary materials to make such a rug. The theory also delves into the episode of The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh from 1988, in which Piglet establishes a dictatorship in his native land with himself as the all-powerful leader. The people of his land want a coil that Pooh has given to Piglet, but without it, they have no honey. Theory posits that Piglet was likely fed better than the average citizen and reach his maximum height, which explains why he is portrayed as much larger than the average piglet. Number 9. Tigger is the last of his kind. A Reddit user by the name of CandyRocks21 has sparked a discussion among Winnie the Pooh fans with their theory that Tigger might be the last of his kind. The user presents some possible evidence to support this theory. Firstly, all the other characters in the series are either based directly on animals or variations of toy versions of said animals, while Tigger is a creature with stripes of a tiger, but he is not quite a tiger, given that he walks on two legs and bounces on his tail. Secondly, at least two characters mention having families, but Tigger's locket, which is often used in movies to show pictures of family members, is empty. Additionally, Tigger's iconic song mentions that the most wonderful thing about Tigger's is "I'm the only one." In the movie, the Tigger movie, Tigger gets rather excited when he thinks his family wrote him a letter, and he's so thrilled that he even changes the "I'm the only one" line in his song to "I'm not the only one." Number 8. The 7 deadly sins. Let's start with Pooh himself. Pooh is the embodiment of gluttony, always stuffing himself with honey until he gets stuck in honey trees or rabbits' houses. It's no wonder he's always overweight and bursting at the seams. Then we have Piglet, on the other hand, represents greed. Despite his small stature, he lives in the biggest house in the 100-acre wood, complete with all the luxuries a pig could ask for, but his fearfulness and selfishness often get in the way of his true friendship. Kanga and Roo are said to represent lust. Kanga is the only female character in the group, and the fact that she has a child without a visible husband suggests the possibility of extramarital affairs. As a single mother, she must rear Roo on her own. Tigger, the bouncy and energetic tiger, represents sloth. Despite his energy, he's often lazy and unmotivated, refusing to help his friends with their work and leaving a trail of mess wherever he goes. Owl represents pride, constantly boasting about his wisdom and lineage, even though he can't read or write. His advice is often useless, and he's been known to send his friends on a wild goose chase. Eeyore, the gloomy donkey, represents envy. He's constantly comparing himself to his friends and feeling inferior. His house is always falling down, and he's forever losing his tail. Rabbit is the embodiment of wrath. He has a ferocious temper, often breaking things and getting into fights with caterpillars. His tantrums can be destructive and counterproductive. And finally, Christopher Robin represents the pure Christian soul, learning from the mistakes of his friends and striving to be a better person. He learns that indulging in the 7 deadly sins will only lead to unhappiness and ruin. Number 7. Tigger is the Chaos Lord. The theory suggests that Tigger, the lovable striped character, has mastery over chaotic abilities and spells, similar to other Chaos Lords like Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls, Jevil from Deltarune, and Discord from MLP. So what's the evidence for this theory? For starters, there's a Tigger movie, where Tigger appears in the intro and edits the title, breaks the fourth wall by talking to the narrator, and even changes the story from time to time. In the episode, The 3 Little Piglets from The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Tigger puts Rabbit in a big bad bunny costume. He replaces the house of sticks with a house of cards, and even randomly puts a rain cloud over Rabbit. Sometimes when the characters burst into song, there are also some random visuals that could be attributed to Tigger's chaotic abilities. Number 6. Piglet is an armadillo. A Twitter user recently asked the internet if Piglet, the beloved character from the Winnie the Pooh franchise, was actually an armadillo. The question sparked debate among fans, with some convinced that Piglet was indeed a piglet, while others argue that he was a mix of a pig and an armadillo. Some suggested that Piglet's striped outfit was to blame for the confusion, while others resorted to sarcasm in their tweets. movies. This isn't the first revelation to rock the Winnie the Pooh fandom. Some fans were shocked by the news, with one person even claiming that their entire life had been a lie. Despite the confusion and shock, it's clear that the Winnie the Pooh franchise still holds a special place in many people's hearts, including my own. In the hump of our list, we have Tigger is Rue's father. The theory starts with the 2003 film Piglet's Big Movie, which shows a flashback of Kanga and Rue moving into the 100-acre wood. Surprisingly, the other characters in the movie, such as Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, seem to have never met Kanga and Rue before. This is a bit puzzling, as the original Winnie the Pooh song mentions Kanga and Rue but not Tigger. This is where the theory takes a unique turn. The author suggests that Kanga and Tigger actually met outside of the 100-acre wood and had an interspecies affair that resulted in Kanga becoming pregnant with Rue. When Kanga's family found out, they ostracized her and her child, forcing them to move elsewhere. Tigger, being a good father, scouted for a suitable place for them to live and taught himself how to bounce so that Rue could hop around like a kangaroo. Number 4. Disturbing implications of God. If you thought Winnie the Pooh was all sunshine and rainbows, think again. A recent theory about the true nature of the 100-acre wood and its inhabitants may have you looking at the beloved characters in a new light. The theory begins with the movie Christopher Robin, which presents 3 crucial points that serve as a foundation for this unsettling theory. First, the inhabitants of the 100-acre wood are real and can be seen by other people. Secondly, the 100-acre wood and its inhabitants only exist if Christopher Robin remembers them. And thirdly, the 100-acre wood is non-Euclidean and exists wherever it needs to be. The theory then delves into the unsettling realization that the inhabitants of the 100-acre wood, with the exception of Winnie the Pooh, show little to no agency and exist only to act out of Christopher Robin or his daughter's fantasies or wishes. They seem to love Christopher Robin unconditionally and would do anything to please him. Number 3. Playsets recall. A total of 90,000 children's products have been recalled due to excessive levels of lead, with most of them imported by JCPenney. The toys included Chinese-made Winnie the Pooh playsets and decorative ornaments, as well as art kits made in Taiwan and Vietnam. Lead is toxic if ingested by young children, and children's products found to have more than 0.06% lead accessible to users are subject to a recall. Due to the recent increase in recalls of lead-contaminated toys, JCPenney asked an independent laboratory to perform additional tests on its painted toys, which resulted in the recall. Number 2. Mental disorders representation. Tigger, for example, displays symptoms of ADHD with his uncontrollable energy and an inability to focus or sit still. Pooh, on the other hand, may have Asperger's or Down syndrome with his forgetfulness and constant fear of non-existent entities like heffalumps. It's even possible that Pooh's behavior reflects Christopher Robin's own psyche, since he is the main character of the series. Eeyore is seen as a classic case of chronic depression or bipolar disorder, with his nihilistic outlook and inability to find any reason for doing anything. His trademark line, "Thanks for nothing," serves as an almost motto for the manic depressed. Piglet is portrayed as anxious with an irrational fear and xenophobia towards the outside world. His trespassers William sign outside of his house shows an ill-worded attempt to keep the unknown at bay. Owl, in turn, displays irrational issues and is constantly annoyed at those around him. He even becomes angry at the other characters' illiteracy despite being unable to read himself. Number 1. Christopher Robin is going off to fight in World War I, so there may be a deeper meaning behind the final chapter of The House at Pooh Corner. In this chapter, Christopher Robin, the human friend of Pooh and his animal companions, tells Pooh that he is going away, but he does not reveal where or why. This theory is supported by Christopher Robin's discussions of kings, queens, factors, and Europe, which could be interpreted as lessons he learned about the war. Additionally, there's a poignant finality to this chapter that suggests a departure more intense than simply going to school. The line, "Pooh, whatever happens, you'll understand, won't you?" is particularly sad and cryptic, suggesting that Christopher Robin is trying to cling on to his childhood and apologize in advance to his imaginary friend for losing his imagination. Well, these are the top 10 scary Winnie the Pooh urban legends that will shock you. I'm your host, Andrew. Be sure to click that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you never miss a future video again. Hope you guys have a scary day.